Hey, this is Russ with Winged Saber Historical Fencing. This morning we're going to talk about cuts in opposition, which are not a mainstay of the system, but cover you for some situations you may find yourself in when the bind seems just a little bit funny. Let's see how that works. Okay, so let's see how this can work in several circumstances. The first of which is that I get a bind and I do my standard responses, but his blade goes along for the ride because of the nature of the bind. So if Roman cuts one, I get my bind, I move to cut back, but my bind moves down the blade and begins to expel him out of position. There's a cut in opposition. That will happen sometimes. That's a good thing. He can't go around and do dirty tricks if I'm commanding his blade while I cut him. Same thing for cut two, please.
All right, cut two.
Bang, here's my bind. I command the blade while I cut. As long as I'm powering my waist properly, nothing good is going to happen to his saber. I get the point, yay. There is a more dangerous version of this that we don't teach regularly, but is really useful for when you realize, uh-oh, I'm going to have a garbage bind, and I need to do something so I don't wind up getting stabbed in the face. So if Roman cuts one, I can come here rather than here. You can see in this position, I'm going to get a middle bind. He's going to stab me in the face and giggle or do something else. I can instead, when I see this situation happening, drift forward a little bit and bind strong on strong, and that leaves my tip free to cut. This is good for circumstances when somebody charges in too fast, when you know your bind is going to be off, or when you simply run out of space to retreat so you can't manipulate distance by going backwards. You can instead manipulate it by going forwards. And again, it's most useful against somebody who charges aggressively because they expect people to run backwards. They don't expect people to get off line forward so much. Cut two, please. We'll see what that looks like.
All right, cut two.
Bang. Oh, this is a terrible bind. I don't want to be here. What can I do instead? Cut two again, please.
All right, cut two.
Now I've got my hit. I'm not going to continue it since Roman's not wearing a mask, but you can see the geometry very clearly, and you can see the influence on the blade. I have the flat of the blade. If I bind here, this no worky. If I get off line, the blade angles mean I now have complete command. So these are 4 easy, quick examples of cuts in opposition. They are when you have the bind and you maintain the bind when you cut, and when you know you're going to get a terrible bind, so you need to do something to adjust it so you can defend yourself and hit. So play with those. They're not a mainstay of the system, but they're things you need to know. Have fun. Happy fencing. We've got more videos and content coming, so if you liked what you saw and it was useful for you, please stab the like button, /subscribe, and punch the little bell icon so that you're notified immediately when new content comes available. Thanks, and go do the thing.